Alright folks, I'm just going to shoot straight with you guys for a sec. I was working on several projects that are now currently on the back burner because I stumbled upon this little Dungeons and Daddies fan animatic, and there was such a level of skill and craft on display in this unfinished work that I felt the need to make a whole analytical breakdown. Because one, the work in question is so good it is worthy of critical dissection, and two, who else was gonna do it? So, I think we should start at the beginning and talk about how one can compel an audience. The opening 4 seconds are the only bit of fully rendered animation. Coming strong out the gate has the effect of hooking in the viewer. Keeping people's attention is hard. It must be grabbed, and grabbed immediately. These opening 4 seconds depict the first proper encounter that teens have. Now, because this is a level 1 encounter, the group is not yet confident in their abilities, and this feeling of doubt and unease in the game is reflected in this opening by their mutual but varied states of disbelief. This has the dual effect of connecting them as a group in our minds while also letting the different reactions sneak in some much needed characterization. Now, characterization is a word I'm gonna say a lot over the course of this video because this opening is absolutely oozing with character. Lincoln Lee Wilson is terrified as he is literally sinking into the background, making himself smaller. Taylor gets to mouth out a "what the fuck" because he is the most talkative and snarky of the group. The clock turns 6 times, slowly wiping away the preschool backdrop. How's that for a loss of innocence? Literally wiping away the normal and safe world the kids thought they knew until it is consumed entirely by the Doodler. Our heroes are made small and meek against this overbearing enemy. The Doodler's dominance is being reinforced through the color palette. Orange is his color and it is used to dominate the screen. He owns the most space. Our heroes also stand out as if to say they do not belong because most of them have a blue color scheme, orange being the complementary color to blue. And if you'll notice who's wearing the most blue, it's Normal Oak, meaning he is front and center taking the lead. And this arrangement of characters, this specific lineup with Normal in the front, is meant to be illustrative of the fact that the Dungeons and Daddies crew just straight up don't know how to play D&D. Don't put your healer in the front, that's where tanks go, you idiots! We see the title font from Season 1 become infected by the Doodler and changes into the title font for Season 2, letting us know that, well, the pieces are still the same. We're still dealing with the same cast and crew. The world has been
forever changed.
With this font now tainted by the Doodler, the orange takes on a different meaning because this opening has already established that orange is the Doodler's color. And you'll notice that the shading on this title is made of static, and static was the Doodler's trademark throughout Season 1. You thought I wouldn't notice, but I did. This little detail, much like the prequel campaign in the Mountains of Dadness, cues us in on the fact that the Doodler has been here since the beginning. On another note, a Doodler tentacle stretches across the scene and we see a fucking dragon, which is symbolic of being dope as hell. Sometimes things in intros only exist to get you hype, and there is nothing more hype to fantasy fans than dragons. Anyways, Doodler tentacles converge in the center until they encompass the entire screen, which takes us directly into the credits. Our 4 principal characters can be seen doing activities that highlight their personalities. Lincoln kicks a football into his face because, well skilled, he does often get in his own way. Scary rejects an earnest outreach of affection. Taylor, with as much main character energy as possible, turns and smiles confidently, looking directly into the camera. Oh, look at that, he even gets a cute anime boy shine. Normal enthusiastically gives a well-meaning cheer, but ultimately falls on his ass. Their work ID cards spiral down, revealing their names, players, and class. Hey, it's kind of like a character sheet because we're playing Dungeons and Dragons or something. All of these IDs come with unique lanterns and personalized adornments. These little trinkets combined with specific character animation provide us with a further insight into each of these teens. Normal's last name, Oak, is crossed out and replaced with Teeny the Teen, a reflection of his growing detachment from his family and identity crisis. Is he an Oak, or is he a mascot? Taylor's comes with a Naruto sticker because he is a big, smelly weeb, but also a chibi keychain of himself meant to reflect his inflated ego. Scary has a skull drawn on her ID because she's not
like the other warlocks.
But more importantly, her former name, Terry, has been crossed out, but Marlo, her family name, is still intact. This enhances her story if you compare it to Normal. Normal's identity crisis stems from the disapproval of his father not being proud of his escapades as Teeny the Teen. Scary's identity crisis is more personal. She is a Marlo, no doubt, but just who is Scary? And Lincoln's ID comes with nothing to highlight the fact that he is boring. By the end of these 14 seconds of animation, you have a solid understanding of who these characters are, something that took the original creators hours of podcasting to do. The credits roll on with a fun joke about how DMs are responsible for every character in the universe who aren't the PCs because Anthony Birch is credited as everyone. The camera follows along into an incredibly deep descent into the bowels of Daddy's HQ, starting at level 69. Fun fact, this is actually a reference to the number of episodes in Season 1. The credits gradually build in speed until the order of consistent fonts is broken by the doodler, because Eldritch Chaos Lords, believe it or not, do not do consistency or order. Actually, hold up, before we move on, I want to roll back and talk about the characters we meet over the course of this shot, the titular daddies, if you will. Starting with who I believe to be Agent May Hales, because the timing of her name appearing on screen syncs up perfectly with her actual appearance. Unless Canonically Everywhere knew that I, an idiot, would have a yet-to-be unreleased episode of my podcast where we cover Dungeons and Daddies and create Job Avedon, the only dad to have a daughter, Denise Avedon, making this the first official fan art of my OC's daughter. However, the more critical discovery here being that this definitively proves that not only is Canonically Everywhere a talented artist, but has mastered traversal through both space and time. Or, it's probably just like Mayhales or whatever. The first dad we can identify is Grant Wilson, and amazingly, his Fortnite skills have translated into being an actual sniper because we can see the gun on his back. The second in the lineup of daddies that we can identify are the twins, Lark and Sparrow, with their contrasting personalities on display. Sparrow, the self-appointed love wolf, flashes a little heart sign to the camera, whereas the more skeptical and disillusioned Lark gives a mournful glare into the camera. And, well, Terry Jr. is checking up on his buds, because he's the most emotionally well-adjusted of the dads. Notice that Nicholas stands by the door, separate from the group. His separation is illustrative of the eventual fallout he will have with the rest of the dads over what to do with the doodler. Next, we get 4 Polaroid-esque snapshots of adventures the teens go on. Lincoln kicking the demon baby, Scary emerging from one of the Do Life Fast pods. Notably, she is unfazed because she was the only one able to successfully accomplish the speed run. Prom fallout at a Sonic's, group bonding at a sleepover, reuniting with the real Scary Marlo, evidenced by the sideways Pac-Man machine Taylor used to crush the imposter Scary, and an iconic teen huddle. Okay, so this next bit, I can feel you typing out, "Oh, it's not that deep, you're overthinking it, bro, it's not that serious," because I wrote into the script the duality of Scary Marlo, but it's literally right there, the two dueling extremes of Scary's personality, and it is literally split down the middle of the frame. Is Scary Marlo a goth punk seeker of darkness who doodles vampire fangs and broken hearts in her notebook, or is she a cheery soccer player who doodles sunshine and rainbows? And the truth is that the real person lies somewhere in the middle, fucking perfect shot composition here. Okay, so for this next one, I'll grant you I might be reaching. But we see that cool S logo we all drew in high school? And importantly, this grungy symbol is on the same side of the notebook that the heart is drawn on. And it is the page that comes the closest in frame to the real Scary, ergo it is the most reflective of who she really is. Scary can rebel while still harboring space for cutesy things and kindness, meaning that these are not two opposing forces, but rather two halves of the same whole. Scary is a multifaceted human being who is struggling to come to terms with themselves. Because, teen. As these notebook pages scatter into the winds off screen, one flies into frame, the only one Scary tries to grab, and it reads, "What do you do when your arm itches?" And full disclosure, at time of recording, the specifics, the literal plot magic of what this note means have yet to be revealed, but I think that is secondary to what is being communicated on an emotional level here. This is a note that comes from Terry Jr., Scary's estranged stepfather. In this moment of panic, it is the one thing she tried to hold on to. Scary symbolically reaching out to Terry. Because despite her snarky comments and abrasive attitude, she still wants a relationship with her stepdad.
Yeah, so go away, or
Okay. And he fades away.
or fuck.
Also, the encroaching dark shadow hand transforming into Normal's Teeny the Teen Head is just a great transition. The next segment of the opening is about everything in Normal's world going up in flames, and using these metaphorical flames to transition into literal hellfire because of Nick's demonic heritage is just genius. However, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about Normal Oak. His identity as Teeny the Teen is literally ripped away from him. Now, metaphorically naked, he is left to wonder, who am I? A spectral hand makes a swipe for Taylor from left of frame. Two hands emerge from a portal trying to grab Taylor from the right, and I believe this is the FBI. And then a final portal emerges again from the left, but no hands come out to attack Taylor. It's not a threat, and because of its red and yellow color scheme, I think it's fair to assume that this is a portal to hell, yet another reference to Taylor's demonic lineage. Taylor is being bum-rushed from both sides of the frame by people telling him who he's supposed to be, but stands firmly in the middle. Hey, just like Scary, it's almost like that's a motif or something. Because of Taylor's unshakable, if not unearned, self-confidence, he is able to hold his feet firmly to the ground. Whilst harnessing the power of God and anime, he is able to swipe away the factions in his life trying to control him. Taylor is Taylor, and no shitlord abusive granddads or asexual FBI agents can tell him otherwise. And while Taylor is able to keep his feet planted firmly on the ground, the same cannot be said for Lincoln. This vignette is pretty straightforward. The sky is falling. Lincoln is a pretty innocent little lad, so his world was simply liking soccer and knowing that his dads were cool. Now soccer balls rained from the sky like meteors, shattering the ground around him, tearing his stability asunder. The world Lincoln thought was so simple is being broken around him as he has to grapple with the fact that his dad is not as uncomplicatedly good as he originally thought, until his world is made stable again by the power of friendship. Oh no, it's too good. I hate it. Stop. I'm a sap. Speaking of too good, let's talk about the technical side of things real quick, because animating a tracking shot is something that even the most seasoned of animators will refer to as. And just hold on one second. I gotta make sure I'm getting the right inside lingo. I really want the wording to be perfect here. Fucking difficult. Now, I know I've been ragging on Lincoln for being boring and not having much to do, but Lincoln has the best character moment in this shot. Even better than Normal's full-throated embrace of his teeny identity, or Scary passing the ball to Link as an acknowledgement of both his skill set and use to the group, and just the sentimental layer of Scary reaching out to Lincoln in a way he'd understand. Nope, screw all that. The best detail in this shot is that Lincoln, in tandem with the camera, is tracking his friend's emotional state and making sure they're okay, standing above them like a sentry. Lincoln is their guardian angel. Hey, it's almost like he's a paladin or something. This is a close-up, tight shot. Those are meant to denote intimacy. And this shot specifically to illustrate the teens finally coming together as a team. And Lincoln is there to make sure everyone is okay. This truly gets at the heart of the character. A subtle bit of character animation for the most understated character. And that's what I'd call a real nat 20 of a play. Ha ha! See how my transition wasn't as good as theirs? Now let's talk about these vignettes. Taylor is giving his mom a cake. The Wilson boys are playing FIFA. Lark is teaching Normal how to shoot a gun with what I believe to be a cameo from Henry Oak. And Terry Jr. is celebrating a positive interaction with Scary. Snapshots of happy family moments meant to remind us just what it is we're fighting for. It's meant to be grounding, like when the Avengers go to Hawkeye's farm in Age of Ultron. The teens now stand united, ready to take on whatever challenges may lie ahead, with one nice little sentimental cameo from the DnDads, showing us that the teens are taking on the mantle of their forefathers, literally following in their footsteps to finally clean up the mess that was started so many years ago, and to remind us that at the end of the day, everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It'll be alright, 'cause that's just life. All you do is try and it'll be alright. Which, well, the perfect ending for this animatic is not for my video, because I still have to explain how the closing and opening shots parallel each other, and how it is the perfect encapsulation of the character arc throughout this entire OP. Which is exactly what you're all here for, right? Anyway, in the opening shot, the teens cowered into the corner, their faces towards the camera, backs against the world. The sky was dominated by the doodler, showing us that our heroes weren't ready. The camera descends, it is the doodler looking down on them. Whereas in the ending, the teens stand tall, backs to the camera, facing forward, ready to take on whatever adversities the world is ready to throw their way. The camera rises with our heroes in tandem as they rise to the occasion. This is no longer an insurmountable god looking from on high, but just another obstacle to overcome in this game called life. The opening and closing lay out the full character arc, from cowering children to self-assured adolescents, whereas the vignettes in the middle, the meat of this sandwich, provide us with insights into their characters. But I don't think essays have salami, and I think this metaphor is starting to get away with me, so let's talk about those vignettes. The first vignette highlights surface-level personality traits which makes them immediately distinguishable from one another. The second set highlight their own unique internal conflicts. And the third show them standing united and triumphant, having successfully navigated these attacks to their personhood. And at the end of the day, it's just really goddamn well put together. And if there's one thing I want you to walk away from my video knowing, it's that Canonically Everywhere's video is so goddamn good. Please go watch and support it if you somehow stumbled upon mine first, and then once you've watched both of our videos, at them on Twitter and tell them to be my friend. Hey man, if you're watching, I also make Dungeons and Daddies fan art. Check it out. It's not as good as yours, but we could be friends maybe, and that would be cool. And now I'm at the point where I'm plugging my own stuff, so I think this video is well and truly over. And I haven't been good at transitions the entire time, so...
Ungraceful dismount!
Oh wait, you know what? Hold up. I just got this while recording. This shot is Daddies in a dungeon in the Dungeons and Daddies show. You got me.